Episode 19 of the Digimon Adventure 2020 reboot, Howl Jioken threw a lot at us longtime fans as we got to see Leomon, Velgramon from Digimon Frontier, and we got a better understanding of what Devimon's plan is in this new series. Off the bat, we learned that Sora, Izzy, Joe, and Mimi are out of the digital world and back in the real world, like for real this time. And after just being in fake real world, something about this felt a little off, like I couldn't fully trust it or be happy about it. Heck, even the kids couldn't seem to feel very happy about it. I suppose my biggest concern with this is that we might be seeing these characters take a pretty big backseat for the next handful of episodes as the new series transforms into the Tai and Matt show. We've always known Tai and Matt were going to be prioritized since they got their fancy evolution animations and whatnot, but it feels like a waste to cast aside your other characters, especially after all the hard work that went into exploring their personalities between episode 9 and 15. But so long as they can hold some role in the real world, like as real world correspondents to Tai and Matt, I think it will be okay. We're already seeing some of that as the end of the scene we shockingly saw Sora and the gang bump into Tai's mom with Kari. We unfortunately didn't get to see the rest of the conversation after Tai's mom went to grab the car. I would have really liked to know if Kari recognized them from when she saw Matt and Tai on screen during that recent battle, or if Sora would tell Kari more about the situation. Hopefully we pick up the conversation next week and it's not just that we cut to the next day and we never get to figure out if they discussed the digital world with Kari. But back in the digital world, Tai and Matt are overwhelmed by this mechanical monster called Valvemon before they're saved by fan favorite Leomon and his crew. Leomon informs Matt that Neymon and the others from episode 11 are safe, and this was a nice character moment seeing that Matt was genuinely concerned for those little Digimon, even if he didn't show it too outwardly. Leomon, Tai, and Matt unite to infiltrate the Valvemon in an effort to find out what Minotaurumon and his crew were seeking and to take it back from them. Here, I must confess I wasn't blown away by the episode. I got a bit of deja vu with this entire sequence. Infiltrating a mechanical Digimon fortress felt way too much like episode 13 with Canon Beamon, especially with both episodes heavily featuring Matt and Garurumon. It had this Star Wars Enter the Death Star kind of vibe that I have mixed feelings about since we've done it twice now. But I should say, however, Agumon riding Garurumon was super cool. I questioned why Agumon wouldn't evolve himself at first, but my assumption is that Greymon would just be too big for these hallways. I actually like that a lot if it's true, as Agumon riding Garurumon and shooting baby flames is somehow super cute and also metal as hell. A dragon riding a wolf shooting fire from its mouth. The good guys reach the center of the fortress and have this little showdown with Minotaurumon and his buddy. Leomon goes one-on-one with Minotaurumon, and I legitimately wondered if we were going to see Leomon perish in one episode. Just going off the Star Wars comparisons, I thought this might be an Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader on the Death Star moment where he gets chopped down. I'm glad it's not that, and I want to see more of the new Leomon, but for real, countdown is ticking. I don't think this character will last long based on what we know of Leomon, but wouldn't that be a shakeup if Leomon survives the whole series? At any rate, there's a cool shot here of Matt and Tai collaborating in their fight patterns that I liked a lot, and before you know it, the battle's wrapping up. Leomon pulls an All Might versus All for One against Minotaurumon, throwing a Jioken with his left fist before reminding his opponent he has a second fist and blasting him to bits with a stronger Jioken. As he's glitching out, Minotaurumon shares some information that is pretty useful. He wasn't an inherently evil Digimon, nor was he corrupted by others like with the Soundbird Mons. He decided to follow Devimon because he seemingly believes in Devimon's goal, which he vaguely describes as evolving the digital world into a new era. It's super ominous, and it cements that the little eyeball thing we saw last week is not a lackey of Devimon, but something Devimon is feeding and growing, possibly even worshipping. But again, I really love this concept that Minotaurumon kind of opted into Devimon's plan, that he actually believed him, and theoretically that other Digimon really are siding with Devimon. It's really quite interesting. The storage tank containing the cargo opens up, and we find out it's actually Matt's younger brother TK, or Takeru. I have to imagine if you're Matt, you're this overprotective older brother, seeing your kid brother not only in the dangerous digital world, but trapped in this cryo tube would be a total nightmare. And the animation and voice acting really showed a truly disturbed Matt. It looks like next week Matt will be giving everything he's got to rescue TK. One last thing we have to mention before the video ends. We see working for Devimon a Digimon you might know from Digimon Frontier, Velgamon. This is sort of a big deal, and I'll tell you why. In Frontier, Velgamon is a spirit evolution or fusion evolution. It's one of those Digimon that is actually a human, like Takuya being Agunimon or Koji being Lobomon. I don't necessarily think the new series is going to reveal that Velgamon is actually a human on the inside, but his presence is very intriguing. Just like when Neymon and Bearmon showed up, it truly means no Digimon is off the table in this new series. Will we see Terriermon, Renamon, Shoutmon? I think anything is possible. So in conclusion, this episode is a mixed bag for me. I'm thrilled that they're taking the story in a totally different direction from Adventure 1999. You know, I love the new story bits and the inclusion of Velgamon, but I'm not so thrilled about the fact that the structure of this episode was so similar to episode 13, where Matt and friends infiltrate a giant fortress-like Digimon. I'm also concerned about Sora, Izzy, Mimi, and Joe being booted from the digital world, and the show potentially neglecting these really strong characters. but I'll have to give it 1 or 2 more episodes before making up my mind, since there could be something really cool brewing with them and meeting Kari and their missing Digimon. Episode 19 is a 7 out of 10 for me personally. But what are your thoughts? What do you think about this Spirit Fusion Digimon appearing in the Adventure canon? Oh, and can you folks help me out? Does anyone know that Digimon that was seen with Devimon alongside Velgamon at the beginning of the episode? I didn't recognize it personally, but many of you viewers are massive experts on all things Digital Monster, and you probably instantly recognized it. Let me know in the comments and subscribe to catch my episode 20 review next week. Alright, take it easy.